Ben Cohen, editor for the Daily Banter and president of Banter Media Group. Welcome to the show, Ben. So do you think that these days, with the way the economy is going, that rich people perhaps aren't as glorified as they once were?
Yeah, I think that's absolutely correct. I don't think right now the inequality spot, it's so big, it's so deep that the resentment for the rich is reaching kind of epic proportions now for America, which is difficult because America is a country that has idolized wealth, historically speaking. So now you're seeing there's a very interesting cultural phenomenon when the rich are now less idolized than they were before. And it's a really interesting and significant shift in culture.
Now, to go along with that, the Census Bureau, a report came out recently that shows that what people are upset about is the income inequality, and they're saying that fairness is not in our economic system anymore. So doesn't that kind of go against the American ideal, you know, that the harder you work, the more successful you can be?
Yeah, I mean, it's turning out to be a big fat lie, the American dream, unfortunately. And there's only so long you can pretend that everyone can become a millionaire, because the evidence, the hard evidence is that that's just not true anymore. Social mobility in America is virtually at a standstill. If you compare all OECD nations, the UK and America come right in at the bottom. And these are the capitalist countries where supposedly anybody can get rich. And that's just not happening. Every single report about income inequality, Britain's at the bottom, and the US is, I believe, just above Britain in terms of income disparity and social mobility. And how long can you keep the facade up? It's not working anymore.
What is that survey that you're citing?
In terms of income inequality, there's several reports. I mean, the OECD...
In developed countries?
Yeah, in developed countries, yeah. All in developed, industrialized nations, we come in way at the bottom. And that's across multiple studies and surveys done.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And another survey now says 2/3 of Americans are unhappy with this current economic model. But it's been a model that we've had for a very long time. Why are people so frustrated and unhappy with it now?
Well, what's happened over the last 30 years is the financialization of the economy, where we've moved away from industry and we've switched to financial services. So that's a very unstable system, economic system to have, where you have gigantic risk, gigantic reward, and gigantic losses. And that's essentially where you have profits are privatized and risk is socialized. So Wall Street goes out and bets money on bad mortgages and whatever other risky financial products they sell. And then, you know, in the short term, there's massive economic reward for that. In the long term, you get gigantic economic downturn when it all turns out to be nonsense. And then you have the public that bails the rich out, that bail the banks out, and we incur the debt as well. So you have a system that's consistently sucking money out of the lower and middle classes and funneling it upwards to the rich. And that's no longer, you just can't lie to people anymore. It's just not possible. You know, the massive amounts of debt, the decreasing home prices, you know, education costs are soaring, food prices are going up, rent is going up, and wages are stagnating for most of the economy. So it's a matter of time until this perception shifts completely.
And we are now seeing the devastating effects of all this. So now at this point, what needs to happen? What needs to change? Is it the whole system, or is it more regulations or less regulations? What needs to be done to fix the system?
I think the regulation would help a lot, but then you've got the politicians are not going to want to regulate if they're being paid and bought by banking institutions. So regulation will certainly help, and the Obama administration has not been great, but it's done something. They've done a little bit. But really is public consciousness about that, and they have to participate more in the political process to get things done. If they don't do that, if the public continues to be disenfranchised from the political system, nothing's going to happen. So it's awareness and it's participation.
Now, we are seeing this trend, a shrinking middle class, a rising inequality. Do you expect that it will continue to go in this direction?
Yeah, definitely, and it is. The Obama administration is, I believe that they are trying to stem the tide of inequality, but they're not stopping it. It's the same in Britain. If you look at the Conservative, the Labour government, New Labour, inequality spiralled under New Labour. It would have got worse under a Conservative government, and New Labour prevented it from getting so extreme that the entire country fell apart. But they're curbing it, and that's what the Obama administration is doing. Inequality is still going like this. Yeah, it's going to get worse before it gets better.
And it is these issues that have prompted movements like the Occupy Wall Street movement. People are angry, coming out on the streets, literally protesting against the system that they see to be unfair. And do you expect this movement to make a comeback now in the spring, or movements like it, or for it to grow in numbers in response to this system that you say is going to keep going in the direction that it's heading?
Hopefully it's going to keep growing, or it's going to come back. It's quite splintered, the Occupy Wall Street movement. It's not particularly well organised, and they don't have a real. It's hard to know what they're about. But the system as it is going to keep producing. It's going to manifest itself in many different ways, I think, and you're going to have some very dangerous elements to that as well. You're going to have right-wing groups that are, and hate groups that are going to expand as well. So the Occupy Wall Street movement has a big fight on its hand to try and capture the public attention, and that comes down to how organised they are and how their abilities to keep raising money and ensure that they're still in the public debate.
And they are vowing that they are going to make a comeback this spring.